Today we're demonstrating the BannerSaver bracket installation that comes from Britain Banners, and I want to point out the materials that are required for the complete installation upon a pole. Here we have Britain's BannerSaver bracket. Then we have the banding, the heavy-duty banding that will attach it to the pole, clips and wire ties for your banners. Here we have two styles of banner banding tensioning tools. This would be the standard tool. This would be the heavy-duty tool. For our customers that require bulk banding, this would be represent that. And then here we have just some general hand tools that are required to do the complete installation. Now we're going to demonstrate putting the bracket on the pole. In most installations, it would require two people, one person to hold the BannerSaver bracket on the pole itself, the other person to wrap the banding around the pole like I'm going to demonstrate here. And the requirements from the manufacturer are that the banding does get wrapped twice around the pole. Before I put my tool on, I like to secure the banding around the pole and then just slightly crimp the band, and I can let it go like that. If you're doing a double bracket, two brackets on one pole, then obviously the person that's holding the brackets would hold both brackets against the pole while you wrap the banding. I'm going to demonstrate the tightening of the band on the pole with the standard banding tool. First thing that you want to do is you want to retract your tightening arm all the way to the end of the threaded rod. That'll give you the maximum amount of travel when you're tightening your banding. Then you push the banding tool up close to itself, and then you would slip it on the band. You have to pull this jaw back. This is the jaw that tightens against the banding. That needs to be pulled back so that you can tighten, put the banding tool all the way on the strap. Then with your left hand, I'm right-handed, so with your left hand you want to grab the tool, and at the same time you want to have your hand over the lever that's on the teeth. And what that does is it increases the tension on the band itself so that the teeth will grab into the banding. Then push your banding out of the way and then begin to tighten your banding. In tightening the banding, we're going to make sure that it's tightened very firmly. And then after that, we're going to take the tool and pull it all the way over to the left-hand side. Okay, now we're at the point where we want to release the banding tool from the banding itself. If your banding is tight enough, you'll need some leverage to be able to pry this lever so that the banding tool will release itself from the banding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a standard claw hammer, and I'm going to place the claw hammer in this position, and then I'm just going to gently press it up, and you'll hear just a slight snap. Then you can just safely remove your banding tool from the band itself. Okay, our next step is that we want to be able to cut the banding to the proper length so that we can fold it back over into the slot here and then bend the tabs over. So length will be very important at this point. So the first thing I'm going to do in cutting the band is I'm going to take the banding tool again, slip it up into over the band, and I want about 1 inch between the knuckle on the banding to the end of the tool. With the banding tool in place and our distance here between the edge of our tool to the pole is about 1 inch, we're going to grab the cutting lever very firmly, and we're just going to, in one jerk motion, we're going to cut the band. What I want to do now is I want to prepare the strip after we've cut the banding to be able to push it against the pole and make it neat, and then bend our tabs down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a small crimp in this banding, about halfway down the banding. I'm just going to take my banding tool and just press on it slightly just to give myself a small crimp. Then I'm going to, with my hand, I'm just going to push this against the pole, and now we're ready to bend our tabs down. Then I'm going to take a pair of pliers and just pull the tab in where we want to pound it against the pole. And what that's going to do is just going to give you a start and make it much easier to pound your tab in. Then after we've bent our tabs, then I'm going to keep my my banding pushed against the pole, and then with a hammer I'm just going to a couple of quick little pounds there, and we've got it. We've got a nice clean finish to our installation. Okay, in our next step, we're going to begin to put the second set of banding on the bottom of the BannerSaver bracket. All of our steps up to that point are the same. The banding needs to be put around the pole, double wrapped. I always try to line up my knuckles so that I have some consistency in the installation. Just makes for better installation technique. Then also what we're going to do in this next stage is we're going to demonstrate the use of the heavy-duty banding tool as opposed to the standard banding tool. So pretty much everything is very much similar, just a couple of little differences that I'll point out during our tightening procedure. So first off, we're going to line up this slot with the jaw on the banding tool. It's got a ratchet on it, so it's just turning it so that it lines up. Then we're going to slip it on the banding tool itself, or on the banding tool on the band itself, putting it into the slot. We're going to make sure our bands stay on the bracket correctly. In double wrapping the pole, you're going to have the two bands on the BannerSaver basically on top of one another instead of the above method that we've already pointed out. In tightening the banding, this tool is very simple to use. We're basically just going to use the leverage that we have, and we're going to tighten the banding in this manner here. And again, we're going to bring it firmly as much as we can tighten it, and then we're going to bend the tool back over like this. With this next step, we're basically going to cut the banding like we did in the previous installation there. And with this tool, it's very simple again, just using your leverage and pulling the lever firmly to cut your banding. Okay, with the heavy-duty tool, we're again going to do the same step over again like we did in the previous installation, and we're just going to bend this tab slightly, give us a little bit more of a finished look. Bend the tab over with your thumb, and with the pair of pliers, you're just going to get that tab started so that it's easier to bend down with your hammer. There we have a nice finished look. The end of your tab is resting flush against your banding, and that just keeps anybody from either jumping or walking up to it and cutting their hand on that. So this is how you would start your installation. You would start with installing the top brackets first, and then you would hang your pole and your banner from the top bracket. The first thing I do is I take my second bracket with the pole and I insert it into the bottom pocket of the banner, and then that automatically lines up the distance for the installation of the second bracket on your pole.